Hello, Fuquan. It's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Beautiful, and thank you so very much for being here. You see, I truly appreciate you. And you see, Fuquan, oftentimes I love to thank my guests for two things. And I do this so often to the point where it has become my anthem. So, firstly, Fuquan, I want to say thank you so very much for investing in yourself. You see, you are on this platform right now because you did invested in yourself. And oftentimes, Fuquan, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. You see, some couple of months back, I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, Fuquan, there was this very tall, unattractive mango tree. And I used the word unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it, and the leaves were all dry. So I just walked past it and I went my way. But you see, my man, just recently I was on that same road. And this time around, a lot's changed about the mango tree, you see. The mango tree caught my attention pretty good from a distance. And immediately I got the urge to move so close to it, of which I did. And it wowed me. Because now the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it, beautiful green leaves and healthy branches. And not just mangoes now, for quite I'm talking about ripe mangoes. It was such a lovely experience that day, and I was so excited. Here is my point. The fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing Fuquan that you are today, that alone has made it impossible for me to skip you. And that's why you got the request from me to be on the show because I was attracted to the fruit of all that you're doing, your philosophies, your insights, your
I
work, the
appreciate it.
impact your work is having. Yeah. And now
I
you're offering
appreciate
your
it.
solutions. This stuff's so beautiful. And just before I sent you that request, my man, I said to myself, I've got to benefit from these beautiful things Fuquan is doing. And not only me now, and even with the audience. And here we had a day with the amazing Fuquan. So thank you so very much for doing that yourself. And secondly, thank you for saying yes to the invite. Because if you had said nope, there was nothing Elisha could do about it. Thanks so much, my man.
No problem. It's a pleasure to be here.
Beautiful. So let's get started. You see, I am quite excited to have you on the show today for some reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. I believe in order for one to transition from a terrible situation to that of a beautiful one for Kwan, I believe it takes the application of knowledge, quality information, and not just knowledge alone, but the application of it. And you see, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking. Why? Because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very important to me and even to the
Awesome.
listeners. And the second
Awesome.
reason, yeah, well, I'm excited to have the incredible Fukuan on the show is for the sake of the audience. You see, my man, we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got lots of informations flying out there. So these folks trust me for quality, eye-opening, and very important information, of which I am totally convinced, my man, that our conversation is going to be insightful and impactful. So for that reason, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or your professional journey, because right now we are so curious. Want to know how Fuquan got here. Then afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Fuquan, over to you.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me here. Yeah, knowledge is definitely with implementation and putting into action is the real power. I got started on my real estate journey around 26 years ago. To be March of next year would make 27 years. I started when I was very young and really got a like into it. If I always liked sales from when my mom used to take me to the flea markets to sell stuff from the table. on the weekends. So I always liked that part of the business, dealing with people, and I transitioned to real estate, working from corporate, and had the opportunity to go back to the community where I was from and start there first, revitalizing those properties, giving local people jobs, whether it was demo and stuff like that. So it was a really good feeling to go back and be into sales, buying real estate, making the community better, giving people jobs, really just impact all the way around, right? So that was part of the journey for a long time when I started, all the way up until 2008 in the US. There was the GFC, the global financial crisis. And that was an important part of my journey because I lost everything, during that process, and I had to start all over again. Well, I lost the physical things, not the knowledge, right? I still had the knowledge and the know-how, but I had to go deeper within and start working on myself, right? Saying that your business will only grow to the extent that you do, or anything for that matter. So you have to work on yourself first. And I really spent the next, I would say, 2 years working on self, whether it was meditation, really getting into different things and reading a lot of books and being in the right circles, going to the right places, and just changing my environment. That's when I started to see a transition and growth, joining masterminds and stuff like that. And just continued to do real estate again. Started back in 2010, 2013, started raising capital for larger pools of assets. Today, fast forward, we invest in multifamily in the Southeast, and we do luxury spec homes here in Northern Jersey. That's pretty much our business model, and those are the two verticals that we have inside of our investment vehicle. So that's it. I've been in real estate for 26 years, a long journey. It's been exciting, it's been challenges, but yeah, that's part of my journey.
Exactly. Amazing. And the fact that you lost everything and you started over again, and here you are today, and that's very inspiring. So you mentioned, raising capital. So how did you raise your first capital? Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, a lot of it was putting my money into deals, and you can only go so far from that. Once I pretty much ran out of gas, so to speak, I started to go to hard money lenders, some traditional financing, and actually the landlord of my building where I was renting, my office building, was curious in what I was doing, and we had lunch, and then he became a lender, and his friends, and started networking through there, and basically raising capital for just fix and flips. And that's the market crashed in a way. I had capital in those assets. That's why I had to pretty much start all over again because I was, you know, asset rich and cash poor. And we were trying to sell assets, but values were dropping. So we pretty much just had to fire sell everything. The biggest lesson I learned from that was cash flow because I didn't have any cash flowing assets. I was just flipping a lot of properties, very profitable, but the money going into the next deal and just very transactional. It wasn't, any long term growth strategy back then for me that I knew of or, had experience of. And it took the market to crash for me to realize that, it's important to have cash flow. How do investors trust Alien?
How did you
Alien?
earn how did you earn investors' trust? Like early.
Oh, earlier, how did I buy? It's really the asset, right? So if you bring a deal to someone and they see that they're protected, they have a lien on the property, they're covered on additional insurance, they have uh, mortgage insurance in the title company. They added on their insurance policy, so if the house burns down, they cover it. There's enough equity. If those are the frameworks of the deal and it makes sense to the investor, they'll lend the money. And then it's just a repeat process, right? Rinse, repeat. And that's really what performance is about and building a track record. And then they refer people, and you go to other events where you can meet people that may be interested in investing in real estate, and you build from there. It's a whole different business, raising capital. It's a lifestyle business. It's not something that you just say, I'm going to go to this place and raise $1 million. You actually have to have a track record and some prior history of results, right? For people to
Mm,
believe, to invest in. And then the asset that they're going to loan against, it has to make sense, right? So if you get hit by a bus, they can still recoup their principal. So the deal pretty much speaks for itself. the track record of the operator is the icing on the cake, right? So
The track record, the icing on the cake. I got that. So, what is one lesson every investor must learn?
patience.
Hmm, patience. Can you talk more on that?
Yeah, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? A lot of people get in and want to get rich quick. I had the same scenario. I just told you I was flipping houses when I got started because the profits were so huge. And I was like, if I flip X amount of houses, I'll be a millionaire. Chasing that instead of saying, what is the 15, 20, 30 year plan for me to get to where I want to get to, right? Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So just having the patience, if you're on the fence looking to get started in real estate, it starts with knowledge and education, sort of what you're getting now, and just constantly staying in rooms where you can receive more of this. It compels you to take action, whether it's shadowing somebody around, helping somebody on the deal to learn more about it, hands on. That's pretty much how I got started. I had a family member that was doing real estate, and I would shadow them around to do deals. um, to gain the trust is it's do what you say what you do, and it's a time thing, right? You just have to have patience to develop those relationships.
I got that. So, what mistakes do new investors make?
A paralysis of the analysis. They want to read every book and have a degree on it before they get started instead of just jumping and learn by doing. They want to have all the information and still don't execute.
Hmm, they want to have all the information
And still don't execute.
and still don't execute. Oh boy, that's true. Not seeking knowledge, but not application. I got that. Yeah. So what were the hardest funding challenges? You mentioned it's been a journey and there've been some challenges. So what were the hardest funding challenges?
Well, you have also COVID. You have a lot of things, right? You have market shifts, strategy shifts. If it's like on a micro level, things can change from easily to a buyer's market to a seller's market, depending on which area you're in. And then things change from flip to rentals because there's not enough profit flipping houses. So people start buying for longer term appreciation and cash flow. It's just understanding the market cycles and when it shifts. It's always going to be headwinds, but trying to create diversity, I think, is the biggest challenge where some operators get stuck at. You're not doing it early enough. Like I mentioned earlier, that was the challenge that I had in '08 when the market crashed. I wasn't diversified. I was just doing one thing and then have cash flow. And I think that's the mistake that most people make. Well, you should always scale to be better instead of scaling to be bigger. And what I mean by that is focusing on operational efficiency more then how many more deals you can do, right? It's making sure your SOPs are in place, and you have automation and a bunch of stuff to create more operational efficiency, to better KPIs to get more traction, instead of some operators or some business owners just. And I did it earlier too in my years, just get filling up the seat with bodies, thinking I need more manpower, and when I started to create efficiency, I'm like, wow, we have too many people. Labor efficiency ratios are all out of whack. And we can get more done with less people because now we have systems and processes in place and automation. So I think that, covers that.
Got it. So what advice do you give beginners, folks who are just getting involved in this, you're still new. What advice do you have for them?
Yeah, it's a learn by doing business. So, figure out what asset class that you want to get into, whether it's real estate or whatever business that you're looking at. If you're working currently a 9 to 5 and you're trying to transition to doing your own thing, then how much time are you putting to doing your own thing, right? Are you still, trying to get the whole weekend in, or are you spending that time, a few hours working on your next, right? I think that a lot of people just don't application at you. We started off talking about that, right? Having the knowledge without application is insanity, actually.
questions. How can that be possible?
Yeah, if you are a accredited investor and you're interested in looking at what becoming a capital partner with us and invest alongside of us with some of the deals we have here in New Jersey or in the Southeast, you can go to the website and basically there's an opportunity for you to schedule a discovery call. I'd like to learn more about your investment strategy. What are your goals, and see if there's anything that I can help you with.
All right, so that's going to be the end of the show for Kwan. Thank you for coming and thank you for sharing the stuff with us. It means a whole lot. Thank you.